actually shocked. I'm actually shocked they pulled off the sweep. But the Phillies did pull off a sweep. They sweep the Texas Rangers in a ballpark that has been part of their nightmares, part of their nightmares for a little bit here. They get that sweep. They get that sweep. The all-important sweep that they haven't got in so long. And you also want to know why it's so important they got today's sweep. Because the New York Mets, they're Metting again, like a lot of people were expecting them to do, because there were a lot of things about that New York Mets team that wasn't sustainable, and a lot of it is really crumbling down on that Mets team because they got swept by the Milwaukee Brewers. They haven't won many baseball games lately, and the Mets were actually winning 5-0 in today's game against Milwaukee, and they blew that 5-0 lead late. And then Edwin Diaz out there in the bottom of the ninth inning allows a walk-off home run for the Brewers to complete the sweep. And now the Phillies, after sweeping Texas, they're 5.5 games up on the Mets now in the NL East, which is so crucial for this team right now. They needed this type of lead. They needed this type of advantage. They need to gain some traction in that NL East race. It just makes it so much more important, especially when you do face the New York Mets later on in the season. So crucial. It is so crucial. It is so crucial. It is so crucial. Excuse me. Of course, when I just start the stream, the sneezes come up. And today was very similar to yesterday. It definitely was, where the bottom of the lineup comes up for you. They come up in some big spots. And Zach Wheeler, how would I grade Zach Wheeler's start today? I'm still concerned about him. He still didn't look his sharpest. He definitely settled into the ball game, and he definitely battled. He allows the 2-run shot to Jock Peterson in the bottom of the first, and then he settled into the game, but still just did not look like himself, and the velocity was down. The velocity was down a lot. I apologize for all the sneezing. My God, thank God I'm using the mic. The velocity was down. It did not look his best, and I'm still concerned on that factor for Wheeler. We'll just have to wait and see if Rob Thompson does anything. He did have his press conference on Postgame Live, so I'm not sure if he said anything about Wheeler. But still, I would consider resting Wheeler for just a little bit, like a week or two or something like that, just to get him off his feet, just to give him a break, so he can sit down and relax, not have to worry about anything right there. Have him sit for 2 weeks, especially when you do have Aaron Nola coming back, and if Aaron Nola can pitch to his capabilities, it definitely could help mend a possible loss of resting Zach Wheeler for a little bit. I think that is probably the right call that they should make. So that's just still something that's in there, and you're also playing teams like Cincinnati and Washington upcoming. Even though Wheeler wasn't scheduled to pitch in this next series against Cincinnati, he's 100% scheduled to pitch in Washington. And with the caliber of team that is the Washington Nationals, that might be a team that you could just get away with resting Zach Wheeler or something like that, or skipping his start, possibly. I still think that's the best thing for this team right now, and to put this team in the better position is to rest your ace, who is clearly dealing with something right now. And I think that is the best possible thing for Zach Wheeler and for this team right now. I just think it is. Bullpen comes in. Bullpen looks really good. Banks comes in the 6th, does his job. Strom comes in the 7th, almost allowed a game-tying shot to Corey Seager that went just foul, but he got his job done. Kerkering, he got his job done. And Duran, not a 1-2-3 inning this time, so that sucks, but only allowed 1 hit. And the Phillies played a lot of good defense in today's game, especially. There was a miscue very early in the game, and I think that was in the bottom of the first inning, where a ball, I guess, fell in between Marsh, Bader, and Turner, and no one was calling the ball off or something like that. But later on in the ball game, I believe it was in the 5th inning against Zach Wheeler, Corey Seager hit a deep shot to right center field around the bullpen area. Harrison Bader timed it up perfectly, lined the play up perfectly, and robbed Corey Seager of a home run, which is very good stuff. And it gave a little bit of a breathing room there for Zach Wheeler. So good defense there. Trey Turner, there was also a weird play where it looked like it wasn't Bader or Turner calling off a pop fly that just Trey Turner basketed like over the shoulder or something like that. He made it look very nonchalant, and I was very worried about what was happening right there, but Jesus fucking Christ, I was like very concerned at that aspect. But still, overall, the Phillies were playing good defense. Trey Turner made a nice play in the top of the ninth and the bottom of the ninth inning as well on a very, short ground ball or a very soft hit ground ball deep into the hole at shortstop. And thankfully, it was Berger running, so he doesn't run that fast. So it was a good throw play by Trey Turner right there. And just overall, good defense entirety in this series, I would say. And that helped out a lot. And like I said, your bottom of the lineup definitely came up clutch once again, especially late in the game to help you get the lead. And Bryce Harper, he got you on the board. Edmundo Sosa with a solo shot that tied the ball game up, and then you get a sacrifice. Actually, you got a couple of hits in there by Weston Wilson. He gets the go-ahead RBI. Brandon Marsh, he had a sacrifice fly to give you that insurance run later on in the game to give you that 2-run cushion in that top of the ninth inning. So all's good. All's good and well. I don't know why I keep sneezing right now. Fuck. I don't know why all of a sudden I have to start sneezing up a storm. It is so crazy. It is a very fucking annoying. But we roll with it. But we insanely roll with it. So, if we just look at the stats from today's game, Zach Wheeler, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, 83 pitches, only 51 strikes. That's just how crazy he was with the strike zone today. His command just wasn't there, and the velocity wasn't there. That also shows with the 3 walks. Granted, he does have 7 strikeouts, but he gets 7+ strikeouts in his sleep. So really, that's nothing much to look at there. It's really, he's walking a lot of guys. He's so crazy around with the strike zone, and he's also allowing a lot of home runs again in every start, like he was in the beginning of the season. So, like I said, I think it's still just probably the best thing for this Phillies team and also for Zach Wheeler is just to rest Zach Wheeler for maybe a couple of weeks. But the bullpen came in and did its job. And also, there's been some intriguing stats about the bullpen ever since Duran came in. Like, Banks has a really good ERA. Kerkering has a really good ERA. Strahm has a really good ERA. So, probably getting that set guy in the ninth inning. And now guys know what their roles are at this point. And it's probably making them a little bit more comfortable to where you don't know at this point what part of the game that you're coming into. You don't know if you're coming in the seventh. You don't know if you're going to enter the game in a ninth or the eighth or whatever it is. Now you have your set roles. With Duran in the ninth. Kerkering knows what his role is. He could come in either in the seventh or the eighth. Same thing with Strom, seventh or the eighth. Banks, he'll be that 6th inning guy if you need him to. He'll be a 7th inning guy if you need him to. Now you just called up David Robertson, which will most likely be in that similar type of role. Same thing for whenever Jose Alvarado does come back to the roster. He will most likely be in that similar type of role. So you do have a bunch of 6th, 7th, and 8th inning guys that you can have behind Johan Duran, which is very good. In that aspect. And then whenever Zach Wheeler, whenever Aaron Nola comes back, and they say they don't put Zach Wheeler on rest or on a Phantom IL stint or something like that, and he's still in the rotation, which I wouldn't agree with. Taijuan Walker probably will go back to the bullpen, so you're definitely going to have to do some shuffling with the roster with some guys that probably have some options on their contracts. I don't know what that means for Jordan Romano. I don't know what that means for a guy like Joe Ross or something like that. Maybe those guys get DFA'd or something. I'm not entirely sure. I know there's very few guys that do have options in the bullpen. I think Lazar has options. I think that Rangel guy, he'll most likely get sent down, obviously. And I do think Tanner Banks does have options as well, but I don't think they're going to send down Tanner Banks. So most likely, I do think they go to DFA route with either a Joe Ross or a Jordan Romano. So it's just something. It's just something that you got to look out for. I don't know how it's going to go, but you just got to wait and see. So, now going into the rest of this game, because good sweep by the Phillies. Got off to a slow start. Obviously, the Rangers took the early 2-0 lead with the Jock Peterson home run. Wheeler limited more damage, but still, it's not pretty when he's allowing home runs, obviously. And Zach Wheeler is talking right now on Postgame Live, so I wonder what he'll be saying about his arm or his shoulder. So the Phillies offense, they really didn't start to get going until the top of the fourth, so Trey Turner had a leadoff walk. Bryce Harper doubled down the right field line to get the Phillies on the board, made it a 2-1 Rangers lead. Harper did get the third base, but he did not come around to score. Then you go to that top of the 5th inning. Edmundo Sosa with the solo shot ties the ball game up. Bryson Stott with a single, then he steals second base. Then Weston Wilson with the RBI single that scores Stott to give the Phillies the lead. Trey Turner then walked, so you had multiple base runners once again. But they brought in Holby Milner to face Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper, and those guys were not able to do anything in those instances. So still, 3-2 Phillies lead. Bottom of the fifth, Corey Seager had that deep fly ball that was robbed by Harrison Bader at the wall, robbery of a home run. So it was a 1-2-3 inning for Zach Wheeler. Top of the sixth, JT had a leadoff double, but he did not come around the score. Bottom of the sixth with Tanner Banks, he allowed a 2-out single to Langford, but then basically retired the other three guys, struck out Haggerty, struck out Garcia, and then Berger lined out. Top of the seventh inning, Phillies went down 1-2-3. Bottom of the seventh inning, a 1-out single for Agashioka against Strom, but he retired the other three batters. Like I said, he almost allowed a go-ahead 2-run shot to Corey Seager that went just foul, but he managed to get Seager out. It was also a deep fly ball, but it stayed in the park for Harrison Bader. Top of the eighth inning, JT with a 2-out single does not come around the score. Kirkering, he allowed a 1-out single to Haggerty, then got the rest of the guys out. Top of the ninth, Bader got hit by a pitch. Sosa sacrifices him over to the second base. Stott with a single that moves Bader over the third. It was one of those weird singles where it was very soft chopped, but obviously they were playing the infield in at third or something like that. And Bader was smart on the base running because got to hold up just in case the third baseman does make the play, but it found a way to squeak through the hole. Bader goes to third base and Stott gets the first. Stott then steals second base. Marsh hits the deep sacrifice fly that gives the Phillies the extra insurance run. And then you go into that bottom of the ninth. Young, he had the 1-out single, but besides that, it was a very good inning and a very quick inning for Johan Duran to get the save once again. So very good stuff. Very good stuff overall. Looking at the lineup, once again, the top of the lineup wasn't really that much of a factor, even though Bryce did have an RBI in today's game. Trey Turner, he went over 3 with a run, scored in 2 walks. Kyle Schwarber went over 3 with a walk. Bryce Harper 1 for 4 with the RBI double. JT went 2 for 4. Nick Castellanos went 0 for 4. Bader went 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch. Sosa, he went 1 for 3 with a solo shot and a sacrifice bunt. Bryson Stott had a good game. He went 2 for 4. Weston Wilson 1 for 2 with an RBI single, and Brandon Marsh had the sacrifice fly, pitch hitting for Weston Wilson in the late stages of today's game. Phillies, they went 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position, and once again, it was the bottom of the lineup with those situations that got the hits. Bottom of the lineup is doing a lot of work, which is very nice to see. And I do think for this Phillies team, they have to find a way to play. It keeps coming back to when that I've been bringing up in the past couple of streams, when your top guys, they either aren't doing much in the game or they just need a little bit of the extra help. You need other guys to step up from time to time. And these past few series, the bottom of the lineup has been doing a lot of work. While, yes, the top of the lineup has been very quiet in the series besides like Friday, when Trey Turner had a really good game. Kyle Schwarber had the home run, obviously. But besides then, Trey Turner has got on the base a couple of times, but really hasn't done much since. Kyle Schwarber really has had a quiet series since the home run that he had on Friday. And Bryce Harper, I think this was really his only impact with the RBI double in this series. So your top of the lineup didn't really do much. So your bottom of the lineup guys did a lot of the bulk work. So really good stuff. It's really good stuff, and you do need that with this team. You do need that. And right now they are coming through. Marsh has been swinging a very good bat for a while. Bryson Stott's been swinging a really good bat since the All-Star break. Bader provides a different presence out there as well. Sosa, obviously, he has his moments when he does come up clutch. So those guys have definitely been very, very helpful. So it's very nice to see. And that involves you getting a sweep, which is always nice. Which is always nice. I do want to see if there are anything from Zach Wheeler. I really want to see if there's anything from Zach Wheeler post game. Obviously, people are now obviously that Frank guy from Barstool, who's the Mets fan, that always like yells into his phone after every Mets loss. He did it once again, and once again he just did not speak any English. That's how mad he was. It's I don't know. It's like it's funny in the moment, but sometimes it just does get annoying because he just does go fucking ballistic every time the Mets lose. And he just doesn't speak English. He just gibberishes the entire time, and how every Phillies fan is like retweeting that. I don't think I've seen anything on Twitter from Zach Wheeler, so I guess he hasn't said anything that was like noteworthy. I do want to kind of go to his post game presser on post game. just to see if there was anything that he did say that like popped up about his shoulder or anything like that. So let's try to get there. Let me bring that up. Maybe get to the Zach Wheeler conference. Let me try to get that for you guys. Where is he at? Where is he at? Okay, he's talked for a few minutes here, so let me get. Let's see. Let me try to get this up for you guys. Okay, so here's Zach Wheeler. Let me bring this up for you guys so you guys can hear it as well. Let's see what Zach Wheeler had to say following today's game.
Physically, how do you feel after having to start push back a couple days and then pitching today?
Felt a lot better. Felt good. Felt healthy. Still just a little off, so just gotta keep working at that. But it wasn't the prettiest today, but got through it.
When you say a little off, like what's the little off, Zach?
Just I don't know. Trying to figure that out, honestly. The past 4 starts have been off, but just that part of the season where the innings are starting to rack up a little bit. So it's just catching up to me a little bit, but I just got to push through it. It's all just a cycle, so it'll come back around and I'll be fine.
When did the shoulder first start feeling? Was it the day after your last start?
Honestly, it's been a while. I finally just got to that point to where, we just wanted to go get an image of it so we can treat specifically what needed to be treated, and not try to just guess. So, we did that, and today I felt perfectly normal. So, just those couple days and getting the right treatment in helped me out.
The velo was down across the board. Do you think that was something to do with the extra time off, or is that something that you're concerned about at all?
I'm not concerned. I've pitched at that velo before. It'll come back. So.
But you don't have your best stuff in the works today to grind through 5, coming out of the first inning. Let's go.
Yeah, it's harder to pitch at that velo than it is at, say, 95, 96. It's just you don't get as many swings and misses or many foul balls. It's a little easier to hit. So you just got to be a little bit more. You got to locate a little better. And today was a little better than the past few starts, but it wasn't great. So my off speed was really working for me today, the splitter and the sweeper. So that definitely helped me out.
The way you and Rob talk about it, just real quick, is like normal. Like this is just something. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been around baseball for a while, guys go through, different times in the season where they might not have their best stuff or, a few starts in a row. So, it's just it for me right now, and, it'll come back around.
You take a lot of pride in never shaking out JT. I think you maybe did a couple times in the board. So that just doesn't feel.
I think I did one time. I was just trying to go back to a high fastball after I threw one, and I don't think he saw me shake. So he was already setting up to where the pitch was supposed to go, and I looked, and he was like kind of panicking back there, and there was like 3 seconds left, so he just threw down something, and I just threw it to the backstop. So, yeah.
Zach Wheeler.
That really didn't tell us much. Obviously, he's going to say that he feels fine. He feels, better than he has been in his past couple of starts, but obviously the stuff's still weird, and he's just going to go with the angle that it's just, that stuff happens during the course of a very long season. You're going to go through a stretch where you don't have your best stuff, and then eventually you do figure it out, and you'll be fine. We'll see. We'll see. So I would just assume from that he's most likely going to make his next start, and we'll just go from there. I still think that it would be probably in the team's best interest is to have him miss a couple of starts just so he can just find a way to rest that arm up, because maybe it's just more of the mileage on the arm or something like that. I'm not sure. It's just something that's lingering right there, even though they did say the MRI was clean. It's just something I do concern about with, the ace of your staff. That's just something that's, constantly just going to pop up, just the question marks and all that stuff. Even though Wheeler did have that a little bit of a stretch in the in the World Series run in 2022 where he was dealing with a little bit of dead arm. So we'll see if he does come out of that and all that. I'm sure he will, because Wheeler's just too good to go on a very bad stretch like this. But it's just something that I do think rest is probably more preferable than just pitching through it, I think. Especially with a guy that has a lot of mileage on the arm. I just think that's more beneficial. But I'm not a trainer. I'm not a major league coach. I'm not anything like that. So maybe it's not my call to make. it definitely isn't my call to make. So we'll just see how it goes through. We do have some voicemails here on the Anytime Hotline. We actually have 3 of those. We have one from Zach, Sean, and Franklin. We do have a couple of text messages also from Frank and also from Steven. So Steven's text says, best series of the year. Bader is everything that Rojas wasn't. Duran is elite. Hitting showed up, and the starting pitching was very good. Defense was great. They hit good pitching on the road. In a pace, they struggled, and against the hot team that had a 9-10 win streak at home, came in and slowed them down. Wheeler is still going through stuff clearly, but settled in. Only negative is Andrew Painter. He got blown out for 7 runs today. Oh yeah, I did see that from the Andrew Painter experience. That he's just not ready. He is not ready. It would be a disservice to him if the Phillies brought him up to Major League Baseball at some point this season. It would be such a disservice to Andrew Painter. He is nowhere close to ready right now. He is nowhere close to ready. You let him have a whole offseason to figure it out. You don't force him to Major League Baseball this year. Yeah, 4 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 2 home runs allowed. Yeah, he ain't ready. He ain't ready. There is no reason to call him up yet. No reason to call him up yet. So, just no reason to rush. Let him figure his stuff out over the course of an offseason. So, to the voicemails we go. Let's get to Zach. What you got?
Man, I just want to take a minute and appreciate this baseball team right now. I know we beat up on them and we always complain. Even right now, I'm sure you can find something to complain about. Probably Zach Wheeler not, being as sharp as we always expect him to be. What did he do? Only 5 innings today. But, that tells me, I don't know how many pitches he threw, but that tells me it's a health thing, unless he was way up in pitches, which also isn't good. But, he got 7 strikeouts. He got the job done. But, the story of the game isn't Zach Wheeler. It's this never say die team, apparently. You think these were games earlier in the year where they're down 2-0 or whatever. You're like, oh, this one's a loss. They're not going to fucking do shit today. And the bullpen's going to come in and make it worse than 2-0. They're not doing that anymore. They're keeping it close, keeping it in striking distance. And this offense has been opportunistic. I mean, I can't even name all the guys that are doing well right now. There's so many of them. Brandon Marsh is turning it around. Bryson Stott. Harrison Bader with the elite defense today. And the defense was great today. He had really good plays from Stott, Turner, Bader. I'm sure I'm missing a couple. I didn't watch the whole game. But, man, throw on Duran. They found this dude in some sort of lab because that is not a real pitcher. How the fuck do you throw all of these? Okay, his fastball is a 105. Then you're throwing a splitter at like 99 and a curveball at 90. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. I can get used to having a closer like that. I've never had it, man. I wasn't really there when Brad Lidge was doing his thing, and that was only for 1 year. So the Mets are a pathetic shit franchise. I hope they lose every game for the rest of their existence, and they very well may, the way they're playing right now. And these Phils finally got a sweep. Ooh, we're kicking ass. I can't wait to see that stupid orange and blue logo across from us and put belt to ass on those pussies. We need to take this division lead and ride it out. Grow it to 10, 15 games. I'm rambling on here because I love this baseball team. We're so back, baby. Go Phils. Peace.
Oh, that's great. That is great. I actually do want to see where they rank in terms of like the division in the league race in terms of like first, second, and third seed. So right now the Phillies are tied for obviously the second seed with the Dodgers in terms of the division layout. So Brewers, they obviously have the first seed because their record is just where it is. It's crazy, 73-44. Both the Phillies and the Dodgers are 5 games out of the Brewers. So unless the Brewers just unearthly just start coming back down to earth, I don't think anybody's catching Milwaukee. They're most likely running away with that first seed. It's really you need to try to fight for this second seed. You have to. If this is the way the division's going to be like the rest of the year with the Phillies, having that lead and the Mets just continue to be the Mets, You got to fight for that second seed in the division. In the National League, you cannot win. Winning a division is meaningless if you don't get the bye week. That's just my personal opinion. If you win the division and you play in the wild card round, it's just doesn't feel the same. Just does not feel the same. So you really need to start focusing with the Dodgers and all that stuff. It's just something that got to worry about right now. And with the Dodgers, you do face them, I believe, in September, like near the end of September. So that could be like if we're still in the midst of the with the way that the standings are right now. I believe that's a 4-game series. I believe against the Dodgers in September, if I'm not mistaken. It could be. I could be very wrong. I actually do want to fact check that just to make sure where it's at. No, it's a 3-game series against the Dodgers. Just a 3-game series, but it's still in Los Angeles. It's in the middle of September, and it's the 4th last series of the season, the 4th to last. So it definitely would be a big one. Definitely would be a huge one. And also with the New York Mets, you don't play them until at the end of August in Citi Field, and then they come back to Philadelphia for a 4-game series in September. So we'll see. We will see a lot there. So interesting stuff. Get to Sean. See what Sean's got to say.
Successful weekend for the Phillies, to say the least. And to me, and I know Lego head Ben Davis had said it often, I mean, that's the kind of baseball you got to play if you want to win a World Series. I mean, you got to play ABC baseball, and the Phillies did that for a lot of this series. Again, didn't really get much from Schwarber, Harper, and Turner, but it was the bottom feeders, as it were, and, you know, the leather was on display. I mean, Harrison Bader with the home run saving catch, some nice plays all around the infield. Again, the motto is just get the ball to Duran in the 9th with the lead, and you feel pretty good. Now, I hate to be the, you know, negative Ned here, but there is still concern about Zach Wheeler. It was mentioned all during the broadcast.
Warranted.
Velocity down. I was a little surprised he didn't come back out for the 6th inning. I think that spoke volumes to me. But not the vintage Wheeler. I mean, something is going on with his arm where his velocity is dipped and he's having to, you know, find different ways to attack hitters. I mean, the spotlight is on him and Ranger Suarez coming down the home stretch. Phillies can't win without those guys healthy and throwing the way they're capable of throwing. But, you know, nice series sweep in Texas. Glad they got it done.
Yeah, I think that's it's definitely very warranted to be concerned about Zach Wheeler. I think that's like a right thing to think about after this series because he still didn't look right. But yeah, it's 100%. And I do think, yeah, with the way this team is now constructed offensively, this is the type of games that they do need to win. And that also hinders on your starting pitching as well, and your starting pitching needs to be good. And yes, with Zach Wheeler just pitching the way that he's been, and Ranger just been very up and down, just hasn't been himself either. It's definitely something to look out for. It just really is, and it's definitely a warranted concern. But right now, they are figuring out ways to win despite that. So we'll just monitor it as we continue. Let's get to Frank's call. See what Frank's got to say. It's a short one.
Nothing like a sweep in the heart of Arlington, Texas. Man, that was an overall great series for the Fighting Phils. The bottom of the lineup has been really good. And I like to see that because they have been a black hole. But, you know, we'll take it. But other than that, Duran, I mean, do I have to say any more about that man? Zach Wheeler, he has me concerned. It seems like his shoulder looks like it's still bothering him to some effect, but after that first inning, he bounced back. You know, the top of the lineup needs to be a little bit better, but honestly, overall, good series. Let's hope we get 2 of 3, maybe sweep the Reds. Thank you, good day.
Let's not ask for too much right now with 2 sweeps in a row. Let's just continuing to win series because that's what this Phillies team does more times than not right now. If we're looking just ahead, obviously with the Cincinnati Reds, Taijuan Walker is expected to pitch tomorrow. and he will be going up against Andrew Abbott. We saw Abbott in his last time when the Reds were here in Philadelphia. He's 8-2 with 2.34 ERA. Then it'll be Ranger going up against Brady Singer. He's 9-9 with a 4.53 ERA. Did he pitch against Philadelphia when the Reds were here? He did not. He did not. And then they'll also be facing Hunter Green, who's actually making his return because he's been out for a little bit, I think. Yeah, he was on the 15-day IL groin injury. He'll work out in Cincinnati on Sunday and is expected to make his return from the 15-day IL to start Wednesday's game against the Phillies. Yeah, his last start was June 3rd. So we'll see. He's 4-3 with a 2.72 ERA. So definitely interesting there. Christopher Sanchez will be pitching that Wednesday game against the Reds. Then you go to the Washington Nationals series. Obviously, you'll have Luzardo, Wheeler, Walker, and Ranger in that 4-game stretch. Whoever those pitchers are, Lord, Gore, Cavalli, and Parker. And then you'll have the Seattle Mariners in Philadelphia for a 3-game series. So the Phillies don't have an off day for a little bit here. Because 3 games in Cincinnati, 4-game series in Washington, 3 games at home against Seattle. Then they have the off day in between then on a Thursday before the Nationals play in Philadelphia. And then go on the road in Citi Field, play the Mets. Then they have a 4-game series at home against the Braves. And then that first weekend series, or that first series in September, they play the Brewers in Milwaukee. So they do have some tough series still coming up. Definitely Seattle's tough. The Reds will be tough just because they're a young team fighting for a playoff spot. Mets, just obviously, even though the Mets are still like squandering, it'll still be tough just because the Phillies struggle in Citi Field. Brewers will be a very tough series. The Marlins, they're a feisty team, so maybe. Dodgers obviously will be a tough series. What else? Play the Mets obviously again. So it's stuff to look out for. Stuff just to look out for, people. But yeah, overall, it was a very successful weekend for the Phillies. And just overall in the recent stretch, they've been winning a lot more than they've been losing. So they've won, 5 of the last 6 games, 6 of the last 7, and 8 of the last 10. So they're on a pretty good stretch right now. They definitely are. So let's just see if they can continue that going into Cincinnati. They got a sweep here. Can't really complain much about that. Not asking for a sweep in Cincinnati just because I just don't see them sweeping 2 series in a row with the way that they are this year. But get a series win. Get a series win. What's the record right now? 68-49. Get out of Cincinnati with 70 wins. Get out of Cincinnati with 70 wins, and I'll be satisfied. I think that'll be it. I think that's good enough. I think that's good enough. Get out of Cincinnati with 7 wins or 70 wins. I think that's a good ask. So we'll get to the chat right here, and then we'll end it off, and you guys can enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Yep, LOL Mets and all that stuff. 5.5 game lead in the NL East. The Mets, man, they're just freaking losing so many games. I just want to look at this. Jesus Christ, this stretch. They've won 1 game in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They've won 1 game in their last 12. My God. And now their schedule is lightening up here. They are playing the Atlanta Braves, but they do play Seattle like directly after that. So it's like Braves, Seattle, then Washington, Atlanta, Philadelphia. So like their schedule is lightening up, except for like Seattle, obviously, and the Phillies. But you just can't guarantee anything with the way this team is right now. You just can't. You can't guarantee right now with the way the Mets are. Guys, it's happening. They're doing a thing from all. Yeah, I think it's warranted to be concerned about Wheeler, obviously. Yes, it is. Wheeler was good after the first inning. I didn't think he was going to pitch 3 innings after that first. Yeah, that first inning did last a while for him. But he did settle in. He did battle. I'll give him credit for that, but it's still just a little bit. You know what I mean? What is like top 3 hitters were mostly quiet in this series? I know Turner got 5 RBIs in game 1, but let's be honest, Duran has changed everything. Oh yeah, Duran has changed a lot of things for that bullpen, and it makes you more confident in the bullpen because you know he's the guy that's the de facto 9th inning dude, and it puts everybody else in their respective roles. Now I fully expect at least 5 of 7 over the next road stand, hopefully. David, I believe that the Duran pickup just settled the nerves of a lot of Phillies. Yeah, probably. So it's probably like, oh, we don't have to score X amount of runs now just because we don't know if our bullpen's going to blow it or not. Now they can rely on having maybe a lowest scoring game. And then if you have a lead going into the top or the bottom of the ninth, you have your closer that can come in and actually shut things down. 7-2 since we traded for Bader and Duran. Yeah, good stuff. What I like. Milwaukee, historic regular season for them, but we know teams like this go nowhere in the playoffs, and they are notorious for losing in the round one. Why not go to a six-man rotation? And maybe they do go to a six-man rotation. I'm not sure. Like, do they want to keep Walker in the rotation or something like that when they bring Nola back? It's definitely something to consider just to give guys some extra rest. So it's something. I'd rather give Wheeler the couple of weeks rest, but anything, I guess. 7-2 since the month of August started. Yep. Reds are a game and a half behind the Mets. Next series is not. Oh yeah, I don't think this Red series is gonna be easy whatsoever. The Reds are definitely a feisty team, even though we did win of 2 of 3 when they were in Philadelphia. It's definitely going to be more of a tougher series, 100%. Yeah, Reds are a game and a half. They're 62 and 57. They've won 2 in a row. They're a very up and down team. That's what they are. Very up and down. They're good at home. They're 33 and 26 in Cincinnati. They're 29 and 31 on the road. Look at the Mets. The Mets are 31 and 28 at home. They're 25 and 34 on the road. They're almost 10 games below 500 on the road. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yes, the allergies were kicking my ass. They stopped now, but they were kicking my ass in the game. 100% agree with resting Wheeler. In truth, he could probably rest for the next 2 starts and come back just in time to destroy the Mets. Nola comes back, just go to a 6-man rotation, basically the same as rest. They won't rest him now. Yeah. Even though I'm saying the rest, and they probably won't. They most likely will not. I want to know what the hell the Twins were thinking of trading Duran for nothing. No, the Twins were trading everybody, but still. Yeah, it's definitely crazy that they, honest to God, basically gave him up for nothing. It really does feel like that. You know, it really does feel like that. Let's see. Lazar is better than Romano. Yeah, I would say that. I think that's easy to say. Twins owners are like in serious debt, so they needed to shed player salaries in order to reduce that debt. I think they were also selling to another owner. So I think it's most likely selling to an owner and all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. So it's crazy. Duran isn't making that much. The Yankees traded 400 prospects for those bullpen guys when they should have just tried to get Duran. And realistic, ever since the Mets traded for Helsley has not been good. Helsley has not been good. And maybe that comes back to the fact that Helsley batters were batting 400 on his fastball, and that's his primary pitch. It was just something that was maybe a disaster waiting to happen. Who knows? Wheeler threw 40 pitches in the first, 43 in 4 innings after, so it wasn't the worst. I do listen to the Frank the Tank Mets rants. I know. I kind of feel like I know he probably has like it's also really good that he's going through like the whole weight loss thing, but I feel like Barstool just kind of exploits him a little bit, even though he probably enjoys doing all this stuff. I just feel like they exploit him. I just do. I just feel like Barstool exploits him a little bit. To sweep Texas after not winning a game in there since 2014, there is a feat. I know they don't play there a lot, but still, oh yeah, that definitely is something that's really good. The return of Edluz Diaz. Yep, Phillies plays Seattle, Milwaukee, and Los Angeles still, so yeah, they still have tough teams to face. Phillies also need to break the Citi Field curse as well. Oh yeah. We got the trap series out of the way with the White Sox. This is a setup for a really good push through the end of the season. We already beat LA once, so Milwaukee to really worry about. And I would really like to see a bye week from this team. I couldn't dream of asking for this team until now. If they can avoid stepping on any more rakes, I think it's very possible. Oh yeah. Like I always say, if you win the division, you need to win the division and get a bye week. You cannot win a division and play a wild card series. It makes the division win meaningless. It really just does. And especially with these starting pitchers, the bye week will be very important for this team. I know they lost last year. I know they lost in the first round last year after getting a bye week. I still think it's crucial. The Dodgers won a World Series off of a bye week. So just for the people that say, "Oh, getting a bye week ruins momentum and all that stuff," I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So, well, that'll do it for today, everybody. Good sweep. The good sweep overall. So we'll see where it takes them. They play in Cincinnati this week, Washington as well. So we'll see where it takes them. So Thanks, guys, for tuning in today. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service, and also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal, don't pass it up. Thanks, guys, for tuning in tonight. I'll see you tomorrow, and let's